quick favor before we dive in. If you like getting the news this way, you'll love getting it in your inbox too. It's the same tone, kind of funny, same facts, just for your eyes instead of your ears. And bonus, if you're one of the first 90 people to subscribe using the link in the show notes before Friday, you'll get a free pour-over mug shipped to your door. Tap the link in the description below and snag yours. Hey, this is Joe at the Pour-Over.
And this is Zan at the Pour-Over.
Today, we're talking about Israel and Iran trading missile attacks over the weekend, a hunt for the man who assassinated a Minnesota state representative, the Army's 250th anniversary parade and related protests, and other top news for Monday, June 16th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with the Pour-Over today.
Here's your quote of the day. Down through the years, I turned to the Bible and found in it all that I needed. Ruth Graham. Let's get started with some espresso shots.
Long-standing enemies Israel and Iran are in open conflict. Israel launched, quote, Operation Rising Lion on Friday, a surprise attack that wiped out Iran's senior military leadership and damaged nuclear sites. Prime Minister Netanyahu said Iran's growing nuclear program poses an existential threat to Israel and is intent on preventing it from developing nuclear weapons. Iran has vowed to, quote, open the gates of hell in retaliation, targeting Israel's defense infrastructure with waves of missiles over the weekend. Israel reports at least 13 deaths. Humanitarian groups estimate over 400 Iranians have died. President Trump reportedly vetoed an Israeli plan to kill Iran's supreme leader and declined Israel's request for bunker buster bombs to destroy Iran's underground nuclear operations, but warned he will deploy the full strength and might of the military if Iran attacks U.S. assets in the region. It's easy to feel helpless in the face of even more conflict abroad. But the Bible promises that prayer is powerful and effective, that it causes things to happen that would not have happened otherwise. Pray for comfort for those grieving. Pray for wisdom for leaders. Pray for peace. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look with favor on you and give you peace. Numbers 6, verses 24 through 26.
A massive manhunt has widened from Minnesota to South Dakota. Early Saturday, Minnesota Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband were shot and killed in their home, just over an hour after Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and his wife were shot about 9 miles away. The Hoffmans are expected to recover. The suspect, a 57-year-old man who posed as a police officer wearing a tactical vest, badge, mask, and driving a replica squad SUV, exchanged gunfire with officers outside Hortman's home before fleeing on foot. Inside his abandoned vehicle, authorities found a list with nearly 70 names, including other lawmakers and abortion providers. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called Hortman's death a, quote, politically motivated assassination and ordered flags to fly at half-staff. President Trump called it, quote, horrific, directing the FBI to aid in the manhunt and investigation. While mourning with victims and their families, Christians have hope in the face of a violent world. God's Son, who himself did no violence, sacrificed himself for us so that we can live in the Lord's peaceful presence forever. Isaiah 53, 4-5 says, Yet he himself bore our sicknesses, and he carried our pains. But we in turn regarded him stricken, struck down by God, and afflicted. But he was pierced because of our rebellion, crushed because of our iniquities. Punishment for our peace was on him, and we are healed by his wounds.
Saturday's military parade drew celebrations and protests over the weekend. the White House hosted the largest military parade in decades, commemorating the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary with nearly 7,000 soldiers, 128 tanks, drones, and a robotic dog marching down Pennsylvania Ave. The parade, which fell on Trump's 79th birthday, kicked off early due to forecasted thunderstorms and concluded with remarks from the president, who said the Army keeps us free and it makes us strong, and fireworks. Meanwhile, organizers of the quote, No Kings protests say that millions of people gathered across all 50 states to protest the multi-million-dollar parade and Trump's alleged abuse of power. Demonstrations turned violent in a few locations, including Portland, where crowds attempted to break into an immigration detention center, and Los Angeles, where officers were reportedly attacked with rocks, concrete, and fireworks. Here's a verse to consider whether you're discussing the parade or the protests. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Psalm 19, verse 14.
Hey, it's Emily from The Pour Over. Summer's here, and so are all the ways to keep my kiddos from destroying the house. Make summer memories. Like pool days, ice cream stops, neighborhood cookouts. And thanks to Upside, my wallet hasn't even broken a sweat. Upside helps me keep the summer fun train rolling by simply claiming an offer and getting cash back. Instead of playing, how many popsicles can the budget handle? I'm actually saving on the things we're buying. It's a game changer for my summer sanity. Download the free Upside app and use promo code TPO to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code TPO.
In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. The death toll in Thursday's Air India plane crash climbed to at least 270. Search and recovery teams continue scouring the crash site where the London-bound Boeing 787 struck a medical college hostel in Ahmedabad. At least 29 people died on the ground, along with 241 people aboard the plane. One passenger survived. It remains unclear why the plane crashed.
California's National Guard is staying under President Trump's control, for now. A federal appeals court paused a judge's order requiring the White House to return authority to the state. The troops were deployed to quell anti-ICE unrest in Los Angeles, despite Democratic Governor Newsom's objections. The lower court ruled the move unconstitutional. A full appeals hearing is scheduled for tomorrow.
Republicans are hoping to lock in DOJ's cuts. In a 214 to 212 vote, the House narrowly passed a, quote, rescissions package, clawing back $9.4 billion in previously approved funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which funds NPR and PBS, and USAID. Republicans hailed the legislation for reducing the U.S. deficit, while critics called the cuts, quote, devastating. The bill now heads to the Senate.
Shoppers are feeling better about swiping their cards. Consumer sentiment, which measures how optimistic or pessimistic consumers feel about the economy, rose 15.9% in June, its first increase in 6 months. Analysts attribute the rebound to the shock of tariffs wearing off and inflation holding steady, though sentiment is still down 20% since December.
Oh, not again. Canada. The Florida Panthers are one win away from repeating last year's defeat of the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup Finals. Game 6 is tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Pacers Thunder play a pivotal Game 5 in the NBA Finals tonight, and Caitlin Clark is back on the court after a quad injury. WNBA viewership was reportedly down 55% during her leave.
That's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening, TPO fam. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, Give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We're grateful for your support and hope you have a great day. Catch you on Wednesday.
As Christians, financial planning isn't just about retirement. It's about faithful stewardship of what God's given you. Stewardship Investments helps families invest wisely, give generously, and align their portfolios with biblical values. That means avoiding companies tied to things like pornography, abortion, and trafficking, and investing in those that promote human flourishing. Learn more at stewardshipinv.com or check out the link in the show notes.